Okay, I wanted to do another video to try to emphasize the importance of checking for corner records before they're entered. A lot of counties, I think ours used to, would a surveyor could bring a corner record in, and they would pay them for entering it into the database and making corner ties and stuff like that. And what you run into is a possibility of getting dual corners entered in the database when that shouldn't happen. And anytime a corner comes in, I've tried to emphasize to the deputy surveyors and stuff to go up to this new corner check. And we'll take, for instance, one like 16, 15, 22, 21. This N13 is a common corner. So we'll just go up to one north, one west, because I know the corner's there. Go out to N13. And for instance, in this particular case, say we got somebody that's working in 15. He said, hey, I set the southwest corner 15, N13, I want to put it in the database. So you put N13 in here, you do a search, and if we don't have that corner, fine, we'll scan it in and take his notes. But this says here the database has got a record for this corner. So we look at the existing information, we find out that it's section 21, one north, N13, but it's the northeast corner of 21, which it is. And it's a stone marked 22 on top. So we can go out of this and go back into our corner records, one north, and we'll go to 21. Actually, we don't have to. We can look at the northeast corner right here. When it comes up, it looks like my recording software is making my Adobe run a little slower. There it is. Well, that's aggravating. Anyway, you can see there's the stone. It looks like I found it, and that's the reason I knew it was there. It's 22. And I'm the one that turned it in. Now you might ask, when I turned it in, why didn't I call it 22? I was working in section 21 at the time, and that's the way I turned it in. So let me get out of this, and we'll close this. And at this point, the deputy surveyor can kind of do a little investigating. They can go into, let's go into 20, it's marked 22, so let's go into 22-1 north and look for surveys. The latest one we got here is one by Croy Hodges. View this survey, and let's just scroll down to see. Yeah, he did find it, and I'll try to zoom in a little bit on that. Here it is right here. Section corner between 16, 15, 21, 22. Found the same stone I did. Matter of fact, he said check State Plains. His position checked. That's always good to hear that that you got your position correct. So anyway, he used it on this survey. So we know that stone was found in 21. Okay, back to what I was talking about. Let's go back where we was at. And I'll get right back into it. N13. Say the surveyor was working 15, said, hey, I didn't find that stone. The timber was cut over. The ground was frozen. There's 4 inches of snow. I did everything I could. I really feel like it's been tore out. So I set a pin here. So when you run that corner check, so you can take his information, and this is where you would scan it in, add a file to the record. You don't get rid, you don't throw the record of the stone away because the stone was there at one time. You'd merge this record, and I'm not going to do it right now. But you would then have 2 pages. You'd have the first page showing the stone, the second page with the surveyor, and you put a note up in here in the comments section that you revised this record to show that another surveyor had set a pin there. And that record would say, now this record's 2 pages. What that does is, let me get out of this. Now another surveyor comes in, and he's working 16. And now it's spring, the ground's thawed. He gets out there and he probes around, and he sees a pin, but he probes around because he's got a record that says there was a stone there. Well, now he finds the stone, the original stone, and he wants to say, I found the southeast of 16. I found this stone marked 22. So once again, you do the same thing. You go in here, you'd make a note, you'd add this record to. Now this record's 3 pages long. And I hope you're trying to get my point here. It almost maintains a chain of title or a historical record of the corner, because you never know what happens. We have situations like that where one surveyor doesn't find what another surveyor does, whether because he thinks it's been tore out or doesn't do due diligence, whatever the case may be. But in this particular case, the surveyor in 16, back in the spring, he's got a record of 2 points being there, and he actually finds the original stone, which is the corner, is the original corner, and should be held. But that's what we get into with, and I try to emphasize, a lot of times when these corners come in, if it's, especially if it's a case like this, where it can be a corner for 4 different sections, when they come in, a lot of times in the office, it's a deputy surveyor in the office, and a licensed land surveyor comes in and say, hey, I had to set a pin here because I had your record, I didn't find it. You want to do a little investigating, and you want to check just before you enter, another record. And the database is going to throw a flag anyway. I've got it set up to where if they try to enter another N13, it should throw a flag and say, that you can't do it. But what happens a lot of times is they may enter N013 or something and get the database to take it, and we end up having a problem with records. But this can all be avoided by just checking first. You could go into, somebody brings a record in West, let's pick, I'll pick a corner like A02. So it'll come up and say, we don't have this corner. So now the deputy surveyor can scan it in as this record, place in that directory, go to the corner entry form, get the surveyor's information, put it in there, and load it, and we've got the corner in the database. So I just want to make a video basically to emphasize that anytime a surveyor comes into the office, especially where you've got a section corner program where you're paying surveyors to submit these corners, always, I need to put it in big red letters somewhere, do a check, make sure that corner is not in the database. And if it is in the database, find out what the difference was, do a little investigating. If you truly feel like the corner's been tore out or there's new information, it might be new information like they found the corner, but this time they put state plane coordinates on it. Let's throw that in the database as page 2, page 3, page 4, whatever. And as far as naming these records, whether you call it the northeast of 21, the northwest of 22, southwest of 15, basically whoever enters that record first can call it whatever he wants to. I just called it the northeast of 21 when I did it because I was working in 21. That doesn't negate the fact that when you do a search on any of these records, you're going to find it. Matter of fact, just case in point, let's go up to that, 1 north, 1 west, run a search. Say I'm working in 16. Well, first of all, I call it the northeast of 21. There it is, whereas really playing with it. Oh, there's the corner. Okay, let's go out. Hopefully, since that's fired up. Now let's go to 16. Okay, at 16, it'd be this corner right here. There's the corner. Close this. Let's say I want to drill down 15. Here's a corner. Same corner. So I guess I'm belaboring the point. The point is, no matter what search you're doing, 15, 16, 22, whatever it is, that corner is always going to be in 13 because I was basically the first one to get there and I got to name it. So that's the kind of way the database works, and this is mainly just to emphasize the fact that we've got to, when somebody brings a corner in, we have always got to go in and do this corner record check, make sure we got it. So hopefully that'll help eliminate errors, and we won't get the case where we've got, I know some counties when you go in, when you're trying to do a search in this particular area right in here, you got to look at 15, you got to look at 16, you got to look at 21, and that's not the case with the database. That corner's entered in there. Now, you may get 3 or 4 pages of records, but at least you'll have a historical record, and as a surveyor, you can go out there, you know what you're looking for, and you can. That's the best data available at the time.